Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday, July 24th special council meeting. We have one item on our agenda. At this time, I call the meeting to order. Disclosure of pecuniary interests. I believe Council Nerda has declared conflict. This is strictly on the RFP for the arena, and Brandon, we'll let you start.
So Mayor Ott, members of council, this is circling back to the report last week, which staff had a recommendation to proceed with Damon Optimal Health for the RFP for the fitness space. One thing I would like to point out is in terms of programming, the existing programs that we have in terms of walking groups, pickleball groups, those will still remain. The municipality does see the value in those, and we want to ensure that they stay there throughout the course, regardless of which way tonight goes. And then all programming moving forward, if council does take staff's recommendation, we would come back in August with an outline of our different options to ensure that we still have day camps, March break camps, those type of things. So.
Sorry, questions from council. Councilor Irwin.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, and before we proceed with our discussion this afternoon, I think it would be useful for us to hear from staff the scope of decision making we can make, because we're dealing with an RFP, not a tender, and there is a difference in how we can structure our decision. So I'd love to hear staff and get their advice on this.
Okay, thank you. Who's going to Carolyn?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just to outline the process we're considering tonight is under the RFP process. It's request for proposals, which, as you outlined, is different than the tender process. Under the tender process, we use that for things like machinery, motor vehicles, things of that nature, which we can give a specific outline of the piece of equipment that we're requesting, right down to the color, the size, the shape and form that we want it to be. And then it's normally based just on price. In this situation, however, we're dealing with an RFP, and in the proposal document that went out to everyone to submit based on, outlined a set of criteria. And that criteria included a number of things, price being one of them, yes, but only a portion of it. It also talked about what would this provide to the community? What additional features would you be offering to the community? How would this improve the programming or facilities for the community? Things of that nature were included, and were also evaluated by staff and when we reviewing each proposal. It's up to council ultimately to make the decision, but when it was evaluated by staff, that's how it was done. And that is a recommendation only to council. Council can choose to go with any of the proposals that they wish, and they do not need to base it solely on one criteria. It can be a combination again thereof of all of them, and price only being a small component of that.
All right, thank you. Any other questions of Brandon or of staff and council? Seeing none, I just want to mention before I ask for decision of council is I know I have never sat at this table and had three really good options like this. It makes it a very tough, and I think that's why council wasn't ready last week. Because normally you don't have three good options that are all good for the community. So if there's no other questions in front of you, we have a recommendation from staff. And do you have the recommendation in front of you? The right wording? I don't have the recommendation.
So the recommendation from staff was to proceed with a contract with Damon Optimal Health for the operation of the fitness center for a 10-year contract at an annual rate of $30,000, and that staff bring back a report in August outlining council's options for community programming moving forward.
Thank you. Councilor McGurnelson.
Thank you, Mayor. Brandon, can you expand on what you're bringing back in August for programming? What specifically does that mean?
So in August, a report would outline a business case for the municipality to take on programming in-house. It would also explore options of contracting out community programming, having a service provider come in and provide summer camps, March break camps, PD day camps in our facilities. It will outline where we will move forward with the current offerings in terms of the Walk Fit program, as well as pickleball, those type of programs that currently exist.
Do you anticipate that there'll be a cost to the taxpayer of the municipality associated with those programs that you're bringing forward?
So typically what other municipalities find is that those are revenue generators for them. I know through summer camps specifically, summer camps is a major revenue generator, so I don't anticipate much cost to the municipality for that.
Any other, go ahead, Carolyn.
If I can just add to that, it certainly would be the expectation that all programming that is currently offered would continue to be offered in some form. Probably by the same individuals as is currently offered. And programming might actually even be enhanced beyond that.
Follow up.
Yes, same individuals as currently offering it. What, can you expand on that?
As council may be aware, a lot of our programs like the walking group or pickleball are often offered by volunteers. Volunteers currently offer it through the YMCA, but if we were to go with staff's recommendation, then the volunteers could offer the programs directly through the municipality or through another group as well. But from the perspective of the user, it would probably be very little difference to what they are experiencing currently.
Yes.
Currently, the Y staff are paid minimum wage. Do we anticipate that to continue, or if there's will they be paid a living wage?
Yeah, so through the mayor to the councillor, that would be up to the winning proponent. As we heard them present last week, I think all three proponents kind of specified that minimum wage was an issue and that they would be looking at that moving forward.
And I believe all three did that, correct? Okay. Any other questions before? Did you have something you wanted to add, Brandon? No? Any other questions? Councillor Irwin?
I just want to be clear, your worship, through you on 2 points. One is an assurance that not only will existing program continue, but expand. And second deals with cost. We offer some programming for free. We have subsidized for some programming for people who need a subsidy. And I want to ensure that whichever way we go, we continue those options.
Through the mayor to the councillor, yes, that is the plan. There are grants out there, especially for seniors programming right now, where the province can cover 80% of the program costs, which is something staff would like to look into. Regardless which outcome comes through, there is an opportunity to enhance programming in the community.
Any other questions? Seeing no other questions, we have a recommendation in front of you. What is council's wish? Deputy Mayor Hodgins, sorry.
Our treasurer is online. She is just texted me and asked if she could speak to that, to something. I'm not sure if council wants
Yes.
to open it up to her.
Yes, all right, we'll hear from staff. Go ahead, Estelle.
Thank
Okay.
you, your worship. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I would just like to speak briefly to Councillor Irwin's question regarding the cost, or it may have been Councillor Cornelson's question. I believe there would be some cost to the municipality if we were to bring the programming in-house. Now, I agree that summer camps and such do bring in revenue, but if we are looking at doing programming year-round, it will not necessarily cover all of the expenses for all programming throughout the year. So I'm not comfortable in saying that there will be no cost to the municipality if we bring the programming in-house.
okay. Okay, thank you, Estelle. Follow up? Counselor Canellison?
Thank you. But Estelle, we don't have any idea what that amount could or may be.
Unfortunately, through you, the mayor, we have really no way of knowing that because we don't know what level of programming we would offer. Now, if we are looking to hire additional staff, whether they are at minimum wage or not, to run this programming, again, not knowing what the programming will be, it's difficult to estimate because you have the salaries and additional costs to the municipality to bring on board additional staff. I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I turned it off when I thought I had turned it on. If they become municipal employees, then there's those costs associated with the benefit package that municipal employees benefit from, correct?
Not necessarily benefits if they are part-time staff, but if they are full-time staff, yes, there would be the additional benefit costs. If they are part-time staff, there's also the employer portion of deductions such as CPP, EI, and OMERS.
Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Irwin?
Thank you, your worship. And through you, there's way too many hypotheticals here. For example, if we went with the offer on the table, that's an $80,000 swing to the positive for the municipality. We're paying 50,000 less in fees, we're gaining 30. So I don't know where net or gross is on this. So without saying it's going to cost us money or not, I just don't know. Because immediately there's $80,000 to the good right there. And then we can net out any fee costs. Gross is gross, net is net, and we don't know. So it's just too many hypotheticals to make that last bit of conversation a point for consideration, I would suggest, your worship.
Okay, thank you. Brandon, I would ask you, is that from your side, is that the way you're looking at this, to hire staff to do this? Or is that the
So-
intent?
So through the mayor to the council, currently in the agreement we have now, all those summer staff are operational expense. We do pay any operational loss or operational gain. So typically the way program is functioning now, we are paying all those expenses.
Okay,
We are paying for all the staff that currently run the program. So whether it's through operational operational difference at the end of July, when we get that statement, those staff costs are still there. They're still working against our potential revenue. So there would be no change if we were to hire, let's say, the exact same complement that currently exists for summer camps.
okay, thank you. Counselor Canellison?
So what we're paying the part-time staff now, is that in addition to the management fee?
Correct. The current management fee that we pay does not include any operational staff. Anyone who works at our facility comes through operationally as a line item on our budget or our income statement, I guess, that we get from the Y. It breaks it out from part-time employees, full-time employees, camp staff. It's got all line items, and then that goes against the revenue they've received. And then whatever that works out to, we either receive an income or we pay an expense.
And that's all as per agreement
As
that
per
we've
the
had
current
with the
agreement.
Y. Yeah, absolutely. So is there other questions? Is there follow-up on this? Counselor Daigle, you have a question?
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, the length of the contract, we're looking at 10 years. Is there any way we can adjust that to a smaller period? This 10 years is a long time for us to be setting with all these unknowns.
Okay, thank you. Brandon, do you want to speak to that first?
Yeah, through the mayor to the councillor, certainly when we enter the agreement discussions, we can discuss length of time. I'm not certain if 10 years is due to them putting renovations in their proposal, if that's why 10 years was the agreement length that they want, whether they're looking for long-term commitment, whether they'd be okay with 5. Certainly we can explore that through the agreement. The agreement will have to come back to council for signing in August. So what that agreement would look like, we can negotiate throughout that to make sure that everything we want that's in there is in there.
Thank you.
Other questions? Seeing no other questions? We have a recommendation in front of us. What is the wish of council? Deputy Mayor Hodgins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this point in time, I'd like to make the motion that we do accept the recommendation by staff and award it to the Damon Optical Health Clinic.
All right, thank you. Is there a seconder for that? seconded by Counselor Keo. Discussion on that? Counselor Irwin?
I wonder if we can introduce a friendly amendment and given the recent conversation around the 10-year time period. And leave that for negotiation.
Are you agreeable to that?
I'm okay with that, with if staff can work in the little, or not extras, but just to tweak it and get it right.
Okay, Counselor Keo, you're good with that? Okay. Any other discussion on it? In favor of the motion? Sorry. Opposed? Abstained? One's abstained. So 5, it is carried. Okay. Thank you. At this time, we have no close, so reading of the bylaws.
Thank you, your worship. Usually we read them a first and second time, then a third and fourth later. Considering this is a confirming bylaw with no form of discussion, I'm going to read it as one resolution.
Okay,
That bylaw 065 of 2024 be read first, second, third, and final time.
Counselor Daigle, seconded by Counselor Keo, all in favor? Carried. We're just looking now for a motion to adjourn. Counselor Keo, Counselor Daigle, all